I find it very crazy how small details about an ad campaign can cause someone to face catastrophic losses. Small details on things like your mindset or your techniques could be the reason that your campaigns are performing poorly, even after putting thousands of dollars into them. Now, imagine that your media buying skills are so good that your ads cannot resist but print your results. I want you to get there. And so that's why I have boiled down what has been my experience in running ads into a 3-pillar structure to avoid wasting money on these ad platforms and actually increasing your sales of getting results from your money. Now, the first pillar is actually a mental shift, and it is this one. You need to learn to cut losing ads fast. If I've learned anything in media buying, it is this. When you have a great ad or a great creative, it usually performs well right from the beginning. It will be obvious to you when you have a winning ad, as this ad will get you sales in a short period of time and will most likely be profitable. And on the other hand, a bad ad will take way more spend before actually getting you results. And even then, it will probably be unprofitable. This should be simple to understand, and it's probably the #1 reason people find themselves just wasting money on ads. So the question is, how can you tell when it's the right time to stop or kill an ad? The answer to this depends on how much you earn per sale that you make. You should come up with an amount of money that you are willing to spend for each sale that you generate. This amount will be your cost per purchase, or simply CPP. And if an ad eats up that budget without getting you any sales, you stop the ad. Simple as that. For example, let's say that you have a product and you earn $100 for every sale that you make. You could decide that you want your cost per purchase to be at around $50. So that way you'll get 100% ROI. In reality, you can aim to $60 or even $90 if you have a higher budget and you're comfortable with it. But for now, let's say $50. So if you run an ad to sell this product and after $50 of ad spend, you get a sale, that's decent. Doesn't mean that it's great, doesn't mean that it's a winning ad, but it's a good sign and you should keep that ad running. But if not, if you spend $50 on an ad for this product and you don't get any sales from it, you stop it immediately and you move your budget to test new ads or to put into the ads that are already performing. I think the main reason why it's so hard for people to stop underperforming ads is because of the emotional attachment that sometimes we create towards our own ads. So many times I've had a creative that I thought looked great, I thought it had a great hook, and so I thought it would work only because I thought it was great, only for it to tank afterwards. So remember, don't want to burn money on ads, kill the losers and kill them fast. Resist the urge to spend an extra $50 just to see what happens. It's most likely not going to work. Ads that are born losers will most likely die losers. This next pillar has to do with a formula. This formula, you see it? Great, because I want you to completely avoid it. Creating one campaign with just one ad set, with just one ad, is likely going to make you fail, give up, and lose money. You actually need volume of ads, different angles, different audiences, different keywords if you are running PPC on Google or Bing to actually make your money back. Here's why. This is how you should view online ads: an ocean. But really, imagine that this ocean is where you buy traffic from, like Facebook or Google. And the fish that are in this ocean are the users of these platforms, the potential buyers of your product. When you create a campaign and you tell Facebook or Google that you want purchases, it's like you're telling them what type of fish you want to get from their ocean. Now, the ad network will take your money and they will try to find you areas of that ocean where you can get the most fish that you want, aka more purchases. So it's your job to launch different boats, which are your ad groups or your ad sets, into this broad ocean looking for the fish that you want. Each boat focuses on a different pocket of the ocean. And when you find a pocket of that ocean where you can get the most fish, you obviously launch more boats into that area, right? But it turns out that even if you are in the right area of the ocean, you still need the proper fishing net to catch the fish. The fishing nets that you launch into the sea to catch more fish are your ads, or your keywords if you want to think in terms of Google or Bing ads. Now imagine that the fish that you want, they prefer to be caught by fishing nets of a particular color that they like. They only want to be caught by yellow fishing nets. So if you use blue or green, you don't get that many fish. Hopefully you get the point now. You want to find the right combination of boats or ad sets and fishing nets or ads that get you the most fish or purchases. And if you only launch one ad set with one ad to find fish in an audience of 100 million fish, chances are you are not going to find that many. You might think that there are no fish in the ocean, but the reality is you are focusing in the wrong area, and or you probably didn't launch the proper fishing net and you will give up having wasted your money. So the solution to that is to launch different ad sets, different ads, cutting the losers and scaling the winners. But now let's see how to properly test creatives in a way that isn't a complete waste of money. This last pillar concerns ads that contain a creative on platforms like Facebook, Native, and YouTube. And the mistake is testing different but the same creatives. Let me explain. I like to think of creatives as ways of communication. And this is very important because different ways of communicating something can get you different reactions from your target audience. Imagine that you're a teacher and you want the kids to study more. There are several ways that you could communicate this to these kids to get them to study more. One way could be, hey, you gotta study more, because otherwise your parents will be disappointed in you. This way of communicating might work for some kids and not work for another set of kids. So if it doesn't give you the results that you want, you try another approach. You say, hey, here's the deal. If you want to become really smart, you gotta study more. That might also work for some kids, maybe not for most of them. And so you could decide to take a more aggressive approach and say, hey, if you don't study more, I will fail you. This is likely to get a reaction from most of the kids. So you get the idea here. When you are testing different creatives or different ways of communicating to users that they should click on your ad, you have to actually test different ways of communicating to them. A creative that works for a certain audience might not work for another audience. Many people go around testing supposedly different creatives, but if you pay attention to the creatives, they are actually saying the same thing. They have the same message, they have the same hook, and the money that you are putting into these extra creatives, you could be spending on other creatives that could potentially get you more results. It's like your first creative is this one, telling your students that if they want to become really smart, they gotta study more. And then you come up with a second creative, which is identical, but only with a yellow background. And then you come up with a third creative that is the same as the second one, but the writing is in a different font. And so are these different creatives? Yeah, sure, they are different. But the problem is they are actually saying the same thing. They have the same message. Instead, what you should be doing to get the most out of your money is testing completely different ways of communicating to your audience. And only after you find an ad or creative that actually works, then you can go ahead and create different variations of this same ad. This is how, in my opinion, you properly test creatives without wasting money in the process. Because if you test the same way of communicating and it doesn't work, it doesn't get you results, it doesn't matter how many different creatives you can come up with, they will always end up failing. So there you have it. These are some of the reasons I think people end up wasting money on ads. Tell me if I've missed anything in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, do all of that great stuff. I'll see you next time.